Today we are going to unpack one of the most beautiful and honestly one of the most reassuring cards in the entire tarot deck, the star. It's this incredible symbol of hope that seems to show up right when you need it most, and we're going to figure out exactly what makes it so powerful.
But first, let me ask you something. What if just one single image, designed hundreds of years ago, actually held a map to guide you out of your darkest moments? And look, we're not talking about fortune-telling here. We're talking about a tool for some serious introspection.
And here it is. This is the answer. This is the star, card number 17 in the Tarot's Major Arcana. It's like this beacon of hope, but to really understand its light, we first have to understand the world that it comes from.
Okay, let's get into it. To truly get the star, you have to see the tarot as more than just a deck of cards. Think of it as a symbolic map for your own spiritual growth, a whole system with a really rich and complex history.
So, the tarot has been around for a long time, with old patterns like the Tarot de Marseille being popular in Europe for centuries. But the deck we're really zeroing in on, the one that kind of wrote the book on modern symbolism, was designed back in 1911 by a guy named Arthur Waite and illustrated by the brilliant Pamela Coleman Smith. And to understand their work, you have to understand this one key idea that Waite was obsessed with.
And at the heart of it all was alchemy. Now forget everything you think you know about turning lead into gold. For Waite, alchemy wasn't about metal. It was a powerful spiritual system all about inner transformation. This idea of purifying your own soul to reach enlightenment. This right here is the key to unlocking the whole deck. As Mr. Tarot points out, Waite intentionally wove alchemical symbols into his cards. They were like a hidden language, designed to subtly guide you on your own path of spiritual evolution. And the star? Well, it's one of the most potent examples of this entire philosophy in action.
Now, to really understand the star, you absolutely have to know what comes right before it. Its placement in the tarot journey is not an accident, it's the entire point. It shows up right after a moment of absolute total crisis. The card right before the star is the Tower, card number 16. And the Tower, oh man, the Tower is when everything falls apart. It's when the foundations you've built your life on just come crashing down around you. It's that moment you hit rock bottom. And only then, in that quiet, rubble-filled aftermath, does the star finally appear. And the difference between these two cards? It's night and day. The Tower is all lightning, fire, and chaos. It's loud and terrifying. But the star? That's the quiet calm that follows the storm. It's not a party. It's that first fragile, shaky breath of hope.
So, how does one little image pack such a huge message? Well, to figure that out, we've got to get in close. We're going to break this card down, piece by piece, to really understand its anatomy of hope. Just take another good look at the card. Every single element you see here was put there for a reason by Waite and Smith. Nothing is random. It's all part of that spiritual, alchemical map we were talking about.
So we're going to look at the key symbols, and we're drawing from some great research by playingcarddex.com. We'll start with that central figure and work our way all the way up to the stars in the sky, and we'll see how it all weaves together this message of healing. Let's start with the woman in the center. She's naked, right? That represents total vulnerability, total authenticity. It's what happens after the Tower has stripped everything away. There is literally nothing left to hide. Now, look at the two jugs she's holding. They stand for your conscious and subconscious minds. And she's pouring water from both, nourishing the land, which is our conscious reality, and also pouring back into the pond, which is the collective subconscious. It's this beautiful picture of restoring your own inner harmony. And even her feet show this perfect balance. One is on solid ground, for your practical side, and the other is in the water, for your intuition.
So what about the actual stars? This is where it gets even cooler, and there are a couple of ways to look at it. The first interpretation, from Mr. Tarot, ties right back into Waite's love of alchemy. The 7 small stars are the 7 classical planets, and that big one in the middle, that's the spirit. It's a perfect alignment. But there's another idea, that the 7 smaller stars could represent the 7 chakras from Hindu philosophy, with the big star as that guiding light of divine consciousness.
So, with all that incredible symbolism baked right in, what is this card actually trying to tell you when it appears upright in a reading? Well, it's a message of profound, gentle, and much-needed hope. This quote from Tarot Guru it perfectly captures the feeling of the star. It doesn't promise everything is fixed overnight. It's not a magic wand. It just confirms that the process of healing has begun, even if you can't quite see all the progress just yet.
So what this all boils down to is a big yes to hope
inspiration, and renewal. When you see the star, it's like the universe is whispering in your ear, telling you that you have every reason to have faith again. After everything you've been through, you are now entering a time of healing and rejuvenation.
Think of this card as a confirmation. It's telling you that the trauma you went through wasn't for nothing. You made it. And in doing so, you've gained this new level of resilience, of growth, of spiritual maturity. You are stronger now because you were broken.
But what happens when that beacon of hope gets blocked or dimmed? Every tarot card has a shadow side, and when the star shows up reversed, it means there's a disconnect from all that healing energy.
As Tarot Guru puts it so well, the reversed star is what you feel when you're so beaten down that the very idea of hope feels like a cruel joke. It's that feeling of disillusionment, of despair, that deep loss of faith.
And you can see how it's the complete opposite of the upright meaning, can't you? Hope becomes hopelessness. Positivity becomes despair. Faith gives way to crushing self-doubt. It's that feeling of being totally lost at sea, disconnected from your own inner compass.
When it comes down to it, the reversed star is pointing to a test of your faith. The challenges have just piled up so high that you've started to feel defeated. You've lost faith in yourself, in the universe, or maybe even in the very idea that things can ever get better.
Okay, so we've looked at the light and we've looked at the shadow of this card. So what's the ultimate takeaway? What is the star really trying to teach us about hope itself?
And this is the core lesson right here. The star doesn't magically erase the pain of the tower. It shows up in the middle of it. It teaches us that real hope isn't about pretending you're not hurt. It's about finding the courage to trust that the healing has already begun, quietly, right under the surface.
And so that brings us to the final question, one I just want to leave with you. This card asks us to find our guiding light, that one thing that stays true even when everything else has fallen apart. So, what is the one core belief or value that can guide you through the darkness? What is your North Star?